Okay, let's assemble the first two pieces that we made, the back piece and the bottom piece. And in order to do that, I like to isolate them so that I don't clutter the screen with the rest of the parts that I'm working on. So I'm going to click and drag these pieces over here. Click and drag the roof piece, the two side pieces, click and drag, click and drag, click and drag, click it, we'll move it that way, click and drag, and then we can isolate and only look at this system. The first thing that we want to do, I don't want to move the back piece around anymore. Once I have it isolated and away from everything, I'm going to right click on this back piece and hit this fix text. That creates a icon next to the part in the assembly pane, this features pane that says part is fixed, and then I cannot move this anymore. It gives me a circle line through it, but I can still move everything else around. In order to assemble these, we need to do something called a mate. If you are familiar with Autodesk Inventor, then this might scare you a little bit, but we only need to worry about one of these mates, and it does all of the mates for us that we need. All the mates, all the flushes. So we're going to hit this Planar Mate option, and we want to mate the top of our bottom piece with the bottom of our back piece. We can see the top of our bottom piece, so let's click on that, but we need to move our view around so that we can see the bottom. So I'm going to click the top arrow of our view cube so that I can visually see the bottom. I'm going to zoom in, otherwise it gets hard to select just the face. If you look and notice now, I'm just hovering over the lines of or points of our back piece, and I want the face. So I'm going to make sure that the orange outline is outlining the entire face before I click on it. And then instead of sliding the back piece over to the bottom piece moves over to the back piece because the back piece is fixed. So we're going to hit the green check mark. We'll solve that. Now we have 1 out of 3 constraints completed for our back to bottom piece assembly. The second one we are going to do is a flush constraint. We are going to flush the sides of both of these pieces. Flush just means that we are making them in line with each other. It looks like they are in line right now, but if you remember, I can't move the back piece, but I can move everything else. I'm going to show you the front view of what that looks like. Since we did this planar mate, I can't move it up and down. I can only move it left and right or front to back. So I am now going to flush constrain them together using the planar mate, and I'm going to click on the sides of both of these. Once again, I'm going to zoom in so that I can see the sides better. And now it's going to snap to the axial middle of the piece that we are clicking on, and that's okay. If after we click this green check mark, it will slide back down and no harm done. Now I have 2 out of the 3. The last one I need to do is constrain it from front to back. To do that, once again, we will do a planar mate, and we are going to look at the back of this view. And so my mouse will hover over this front piece on the other side, but I'm actually hitting this back corner of the view cube. So I'm going to zoom out so you guys can see better what I mean. If I hit on this back corner of the view cube, then I can now see the back side of the back piece and the bottom piece. So I'll click on the back of the back piece and the back of the bottom piece. It'll intuitively see that I'm looking for a flush constraint and not a mate constraint. If I flip the axes, then it will give me a mate constraint. And I don't want them glued together, I want them in line with one another. So once it looks like this, I will give the green check mark. It doesn't matter where you hit that check mark. But after that we have 3 constraints, and now our bottom piece is not going to move on us at all. Go back to isometric, and we are done with one of our pieces.